enough to get nominated, why wouldn't he be good enough to win?
That's true. He's been nominated.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
A little bit, yeah. See if I can
How's
turn
that?
you up. Whoa, good, loud.
Okay. Awesome. Good to see you guys. I see Mary, Jen, and Rhonda and Chris. Maybe both of you are on.
Yeah, we're both
I
here.
think Rhonda was.
They were first.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Monica?
Did you guys come on first?
No, Mary and Jen were here before us.
Oh, okay. Well, so I don't know if you got the post in the Facebook group. I'm going to be only doing an hour tonight instead of 2 hours because it's my son's birthday tonight. And so I'm not sure who else is going to come on, but it seems like if it's just us, would that be plenty of time? But do any of you have any time constraints where you need to leave early or would rather share later in the call?
What did you say, Monica? I'm sorry.
I'm just wondering if anybody has any time constraints. I'm only doing an hour tonight instead of 2 hours because it's my son's birthday tonight. But I'm just wondering if anybody, sometimes people come on and they're just listening because they're driving and they're like, I'd rather share towards the end of the call or I need to leave early. Does anybody have any time constraints?
No.
All right. Well, then we'll just go in, I guess, just the order that people came on.
That was Mary, I think.
Okay.
Mary?
I'm kind of sitting in the dark. I am here.
I can see you.
Hi.
Hi.
Yep.
Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, so a celebration. Oh my gosh. Not leaning in is so freaking hard. So
Mm-hmm.
freaking hard because I'm so used to just, kind of get her done the most efficient way.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, Mark had to run to get some equipment, which is 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back, and the time to load up the equipment. So I left at 8:45, and I thought, okay, 8:45, 9:45, 10:45. You should be home by 11, 11:30. Made a nice breakfast. He didn't get home till quarter to something. I don't know. I'd already eaten. The stuff was cold. I was just like, and then he comes in all huggy kissy. I'm like, I don't know what you've been doing, but you didn't do what you said you were going to do. He goes, well, I just thought I'd edge a little bit so that I'm like, it's Sunday and you said you don't work on Sundays and you did. Now you don't get to choose your consequence, but don't talk to me, because I'm like, look, I realize in the leaning in thing is that I make myself available 24/7. I make myself available 24/7. I think that's part of giving 100%, but not to the point where that is being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you know what? We didn't talk about what time specifically you were going to be home or what time breakfast was going to be, but you didn't call me. You didn't communicate it. So
Mhm.
you don't get to choose the consequence. I do.
Mm.
Anyway, it was just,
Mhm.
but it's just like, you know what, Mary, if you want it to change, you got to do something different. So,
Yeah, and setting your limits and saying, I'm only available for this amount of time. If you're not home by then I might not feel like connecting at that point.
well, and I'll be available 24/7 as long as you communicate to me what your needs and plans are. But I'm not going to just be waiting at the door anymore. It's like, oh,
Right.
now I realize about the extra leaning in, and that actually is a celebration for me. Was that
Yeah.
as hard as it was like, oh, I got to take a step back and I got to just let him fall into his own holes and dig himself out and quit overprotecting or whatever. Because the other
Yeah, you
thing
can't
is,
protect him from the outcome of his choices.
right,
Well done, Mary.
that's all. Thank you.
Yeah. And then how long did that last? Did you guys restore connection at some point?
Um, well, because we did. Um, he waited for me to get off the phone to ask if he could eat. And I'm like, I don't care. I already ate. Go ahead. And then, because I'm like, I can't, it's really hard to give what I consider a cold shoulder. But it's like, look, you come waltzing in here. I'm on the phone. And as you can see, my place is empty. My dishes are in the strainer. Don't ask me if you can eat. It's sitting there cold. You can eat or not eat because then you got to go to bed because you got to work again. And that last night. So, but it's like, oh, this is what overleaning is about. Staying in your lane is zipping your lip, but overleaning in is doing too much
Yeah.
without accountability of the other person.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So,
And leaving the gap for them to fill.
yeah.
Good
Well,
for
yeah,
you.
because we had talked about too, as far as initiating, like
Yeah.
it's really hard for me not to, I've been the planner, the organizer, but then it's like, rein it in, Mary, because you want him to do it, but you keep doing it. So why
Right,
can't you
right.
do it?
Yeah. Then he'll realize like, oh, if I don't communicate, she might move on with her day and then she won't be around when I get home. I better communicate so that I can let her know so that, 'cause you know what I mean? So that he's driven by his own desire to connect and to facilitate that because he knows through experience and repetition that if he doesn't, then you might, in the absence of information, just move on with your day and then you're not going to be as available when he comes back. Right.
Right.
So, and it's not to spite him, it's just to say, to change your part in the pattern where you would be like too accommodating, or like filling
Right.
in the gaps that he's leaving, instead leaving the gap that he leaves so that he feels it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm so glad you had that like aha moment. That's always such a cool thing when like you go from like understanding it intellectually to then also being able to implement it in a way that feels profound. Like, oh, I get it now. Like on a lived experience level, this is what that looks like and feels like. And it is hard.
It is hard, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, good for you. I love
Otherwise,
it. I love your
no,
determination.
you keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. Well, we all know what Einstein said about that.
Yeah. Exactly. Good job, Mary.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, do you need anything? You need coaching on anything tonight? Any
Well,
questions on the lessons? Anything you're grappling with?
I've been watching more videos on betrayal and affair therapy, and I
Mm-hmm.
realize that that is still an unresolved issue in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to talk about it. He wants to gloss over it. He wants to put it in the past. And I'm like, the more videos I've been watching, it's like, yeah, but you're not acknowledging my pain. You're not
Mm-hmm.
acknowledging my grief. You're not acknowledging
Mm-hmm.
what I got put through. You just want to put it behind you. And
Mm-hmm.
therefore, you're not taking ownership of it either. And so,
Mm-hmm. Because that's part of the healing, is
right,
actually talking about it.
right. And knowing that, this is who we are, this is what happened. And we need to face it together and um, quit pretending like everything is fine when there's still unresolved pain. And I get it. He doesn't like conflict and he grew up with so much pain and he wants to avoid that. And it's like, yeah, well, you inflicted it pretty good. So,
Right. And what do you need to heal? Like whether he likes it or not, it doesn't take away from what you need to heal.
right. And I need to be able to talk about it and I need to be able to express my pain and my frustration and whatever else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I'm
Well,
working
and
on.
that's something we can also we can do a joint call about that. We can do a repair and forgiveness focused conversation. Part of the healing from that is understanding what it meant to the other person and understanding like what the thought process was, and really pulling back the curtain and having an understanding of what that person, like what he was experiencing and what it meant to him and what his thought process was, because then it's easier to be able to turn the page and say, okay, I understand that's how it was. He's not that person anymore. Here's how he's different now. Now that I understand it, it's easier to say we're on different footing now. I can turn the page. But when you don't really know, it is hard to turn the page. Totally.
Well, and it's not even so much that I don't trust him. It's just
Mhm.
I don't feel like I ever was able to sincerely express and him genuinely receive the
Mhm.
pain that I caused. And that's what's missing is that
Yeah.
acknowledgement.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Well, capture that in your journal, and let's talk about that, because I actually have a one-on-one with him on Thursday, and I'd like to get another one-on-one with him under my belt, and then I'd like to do a joint call if you guys feel ready for that.
sure.
If you feel ready for that? Because I'm going to check in with him about it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I pretty much know his MO.
What's that?
I pretty much know his MO. I can pretty much predict how it will go, but I'm going to be open-minded about it.
Okay. Good. I know
He-
that's hard to do.
He's very good about um, flying on somebody else's coattails and
Mhm.
doing um, hoping to get recognition by association.
Mm.
So like you may give me a lot of credit. She's done this, she's done that, she's done that. It's like, okay, thank you for the credit, but let's turn it around and
What's going on with you? What
hear
are
about
you
you.
doing? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. All right. Well, I'm talking to him on Thursday, and then I'll circle back and we'll do like a three-way email to set something up for the two of us.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Good. Well, I'm going to turn it over, Mary, see if anybody has any thoughts for you. I see Marlene joined us. Welcome, Marlene. Oh, and Angela, I see you too. Let me know if you have any time constraints. This call is only an hour tonight because it's my son's birthday. So if you would rather share later in the call or earlier in the call, let me know in the chat box. But if anybody has any thoughts for Mary, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Mary, it's Marlene. I have a quick question for you because I kind of feel some of that shared pain about the cheating part, is that, are you looking for, are you trying to get from him how that pain, not just the pain part of it for you, but also an apology and asking for him to tell you that he is not just sorry, but let's see what I'm kind of screwed up here.
Marlene, he's been very genuine in his remorse.
Yeah,
I don't feel that he's acknowledged mine.
yeah,
So that's where I feel a little bit cheated. Not, no pun
right.
intended. So
And I guess, and my other question is, do you think that it's intensified somewhat because you have stuffed it and it hasn't been addressed for a long, long time? And so it's also created some resentment?
no, it's
Okay.
just I accept it as a quote unquote character flaw, and I'm just hoping that it's something that he can grow
Mhm.
and let it be part of his character.
Right.
Because we've talked too about, I said, well, I'm really sorry, I'm taking up way too much time because there's only an hour here. So
I was just curious because I too deal with some of that, and so I'm just trying to feel it myself. You know what I'm saying? In a different way, and
and
understand.
I'd be glad to talk to you later
Okay.
this something.
Yeah.
And it's just good to think about, like, what do I need to heal? What do I need to know? Is there questions I need answered, or do I just need the person to listen and really understand the impact it's had on me? Think about, like, what is it that I need to feel like I can heal from this? Because it's different for everybody,
Yeah.
And sometimes the assumption is, oh, you just want to dredge up the past just for the sake of making me feel bad. But it's like, no, I just want to feel that you feel me, that
And I
you
want
feel the impact it's had on me, and that can be healing in and of itself. They don't have to do much else. They don't have to do much else except just listen.
I just wanted to, oh, go ahead, Mary.
Go ahead.
No, I wanted to add a piece of that from my perspective is I feel like in those kind of situations, having been down that road before, is that I guess for me, I feel like if I don't feel that you sincerely feel my pain or care about my pain, then how can I trust you not to do it again? Because you don't even care enough about the impact it had on me. If you don't care about the impact, then how are you going to care not enough to do it again? That's how I look at it. And I think that's why it's always been such a big thing so I understand where you're coming from is, in a situation like that, is that if you don't even care to hear me about it or to take, ownership of the fact that you caused this pain, then I have a hard time trusting that you're not going to take me down that road again.
That makes sense. Yeah. I think that's why it is so healing.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Yeah, you get to have that. Yeah, thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Marlene. All right, so next up is Jen. Jen, is this a good time, or do you want me to come back to you?
It's fine. I
Okay.
don't need to take too long either.
Okay.
Happy birthday, by the way. Did you have a nice birthday
Thank
on
you.
Friday?
Yeah, I had a great birthday. Yeah.
Um,
Lots of Pisces birthdays. My son is 17 today. And let's see, and my best friend from high school, her birthday is today as well. So lots of March birthdays, including you,
Okay.
Jen.
Yeah, I had I don't know, I'm just gonna share little snips because that's all I have to say.
We'll start with a celebration
felt-
first.
Well, I woke up today. A Monday morning is usually not my good day because it's like the monotony of the work week, and I'm like just waiting to get to the. But this week I'm only working today, and then I'm off the rest of the week, so that could probably be why. But for spring break with the kids, so I didn't wake up with that terrible feeling like I often do. Of the first thing that pops into my head is the reality of my husband and all that makes me sick feeling every morning. So
Mhm.
I mean, it's been a long time. I don't know. Sometime that must just stop. But at least today, I didn't feel that, and I was in an okay mood until he picked them up. But it was okay. I mean, he was planning
That's
to spend the day.
awesome.
He was planning
It's
to
a
spend the day
sign that
with
you're
them.
doing better.
Yeah, maybe. Although when he came, you know what it is I didn't see him at all this weekend because it was my weekend, and he's
Mhm.
the way he's got it. It's so, it's not like I see him every day where I used to.
Mhm. Mhm.
So just not interacting with him all weekend enabled
Mhm.
me to feel better, I think, although he did text me, so it's not like I didn't
Mhm.
interact with him at all. But whenever he did interact with me, I always felt like he was, had there's something that he was doing that was, not right, not the kind of person I think he would want to be. And I felt like I was, being the more mature one or whatever. That's how I keep feeling. I hope that's not grandiosity, but I hope that's just because I'm proud of,
Yeah.
who I'm being, even though
Yeah.
I haven't
No,
been
that's
proud of,
good.
everything, but I don't know. He
Yeah,
just,
no, that's positive. That's the whole idea, is that even when somebody else is acting in a way that hurts or that we don't like or is out of character or is not what it used to be, that if you can anchor yourself with showing up how you want to be, then you still there, it doesn't take away the pain, but there's a sense of feeling good about yourself, feeling proud of yourself, feeling
yeah,
knowing of your worthiness.
I go
That
back and forth,
yeah. Yeah. Well,
back
and
and
it
forth,
isn't,
feeling
yeah,
proud of
and that's
myself, and
normal.
then
Mhm.
I'm like, I listened to the remainder of the audiobook, the Terry Real audiobook that you recommended. Well, not
Mhm.
audio, but I listened to it audio. The very last CD in that thing just had a lot of information that was pertinent and relevant, and I just feel like it makes me sad when I listen to it, because I feel like
Mm.
if my husband would just listen to it, he might see that there's the way we've been doing things is not right, and that like contributed to everything, and rather than feeling
Yeah, feeling like it's all your fault.
feeling like I'm hopeless, and it's he just has to. But I don't know. And I also listened to your older video that I've listened before, but I re-listened to it, the one about the getting to the what was that called, the no turning back point or something like
Oh,
that.
the point of no return.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
Point of no return one. And as I listened to it, I was like, it's like you're talking about me and my situation. It feels like, and I had my mom listen to it, and she's like, yeah, she wondered if you made that video after talking to me, because it was like, so.
No, I did not. I
seemed,
made that
I
video
know.
before you joined, I think. But
Yeah, I know you did, because I listened to it before I
but a lot
joined.
of people relate to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that sort of hit me, like the reality of that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it hit me in a way where I was like accepting of it, but then sometimes it makes me feel disappointed, I guess, when
Yeah.
it's a combination of feelings. I don't want it to be the point of no return, but I guess the way your thing described it very well could be. And
Yeah. Well,
have to
time
live
will
with that.
tell, but it's hard, because if you don't know that it's really, if you're not sure if he's totally at that point or if it's just temporary or
Well,
whatever, then it's hard to grieve completely, because
well,
you go back and
everything,
forth between hope and grief, right?
everything would not give me any hope. I mean, there isn't anything to give me any hope. I just try to have it,
Yeah.
but there's nothing that would be feeding that, other
Mhm.
than my own probably delusions or something. Not delusions,
Mhm.
just my own faith in
Yeah.
who I think a person is.
I don't even
And,
think
you
that's a
know,
bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing to hold space for that vision in your mind and to have hope, even though you're, as long as you're tempering it with like acceptance for how it is now, right? Then it's okay. Like, it's like, I'm accepting how it is now, and I'm hoping that it could be different in the future. I don't know, but I'm not hinging everything on that hope. You're not hinging everything on that hope. You're still moving forward with like arranging the weekends, and you're finding that balance. And so in that sense, it's not delusional, but a lot of people hang on to hope. And where it seems like couples, so that miraculous recovery that some couples have, where it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't think we could come back from this. It's because one or both people had some hope that, that they were able to anchor into the future of like, this could happen, and I'm going to act as if I'm going to hold space for that. I'm going to not burn any bridges to that path, and to maximize your potential that you could get there. And so it serves that purpose. If there is a chance, even if it's a 1% chance, you want to keep that hope alive, right? But it's also helpful, even if things don't turn around, hope is helpful because it helps you defend against grief that you might not be ready for yet. And it allows you to take it in bites. You know what I'm saying? So either way, it's not a bad thing as long as you're in acceptance one day at a time in the moment now. It's a hard balance to strike, but I feel like you're doing it. And you're having the range of emotions that would be considered normal for that.
okay.
Yeah. Sadness, grief, hope, but also remembering like who you are in all of it.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
doing
most
things
of the
differently in your new ways.
time I feel like my husband is doing the wrong thing, and I feel like he's, the bad guy here. Well, because most of the time he's being that way. Annoying things that I like to complain about him. Like he wants to act like we're 50-50, share the kids. He has a right to have them, blah blah blah. And then just out of the blue, he texted me yesterday and says, I won't be available the whole week of some week in May to do anything with the kids. Basically, he's like going to leave town or something like that. So I'm just letting you know so you can make other arrangements. And, the way he says that, it's like, if you have a responsibility that you're saying that you have and want, then you ask a person who is going to do you a favor, and it's not my responsibility to find other arrangements if he's gone. I mean, it's okay to ask me, but anyway, his way of saying,
but you're not obligated to say yes either.
Right. He says it like it's not a question. He's just saying like he's the special guest visitor who can't show up during this week, rather than presenting himself as it's my responsibility as their dad. Is it okay? Is it okay? Can you cover for me?
Yeah.
Can you make this work? That's the way
that would be the accountable way to approach it, wouldn't it?
Yes. So that was annoying.
Yeah.
That was yesterday. And then I just had to see him a little bit today when he picked up the kids, and I just asked him to do a little something on my phone that I couldn't get to go back to normal because he's a technical person and I'm not. And he's like, that'll be $100, just being annoying. Like he can't be a nice person genuinely unless he's getting something for it, which is not the person that he's ever been. And I just don't know why he feels the need to act like jerky like that. So
yeah. So is there anything, Jen, anything I can support you on? Any coaching that you need today?
No, because I don't know what I'm supposed. I always just feel like I don't know how you can help me when I don't have a couple for you to coach. I know you're helping me, but I don't know what my goal is other than to just not I don't know. I'm trying to be the best me.
And you are.
I'm trying to
I think
but
just take it one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time. Anytime you notice you're ruminating, anytime you notice you're in the future or in the past, try to bring your mind back to the present moment and anchoring yourself. How can I be the best version of me right now? How can I make the most out of this moment? How can I be in alignment with my vision right now and how I'm showing up? Just even at home with your kids, for yourself, that self-care, that inner voice, all of the belief work,
Yeah.
whatever you can do to kind of feel good right now is totally valuable. It's not
Well,
just like, I don't say that as like self-medicating feel good. I mean, just like to feel okay in the moment right now, and to feel like, even though I don't know the future, even though I can't change the past, finding peace and presence in each moment will help reduce the amount of energy that's being spent on things that you can't control, and bring your energy back to the place of what you can control. And you end up feeling more energized. So that would be my best advice, just in general. And I'll turn it over and see if anybody else has any thoughts for you as well. But I think just keep going through the lessons, keep coming to the calls, keep asking yourself that question. What is it that I want? What is it that I'm taking a stand for? How can I show up in service of that right now, regardless of what anybody else is doing? And that will, and you will be in integrity with your values no matter what. That's the most important thing.
yeah, I feel like I'm doing that, and
Yeah,
I
you are.
feel good when I'm with my friends, and we're going to Orlando and have plans to go to Universal Studios, and I feel good when I'm with them. I was just with them last night, and so maybe that that helped me wake up in a good mood. But then
Yeah.
my husband coming in the morning and then me being there all alone, I was just kind of like, that made me a little bit, I don't know. It started to make me worry about when this vacation that we have planned comes to an end, how I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna need something else to, temporarily.
Yeah.
Give
Then
me a
ask yourself,
lift.
what can I control? What can I not control? If there's something I can do now to prepare for that, do it. But if it's not something you're going to be acting on to prepare, then just release it from your mind. Is it something I can do something about now? And if not, release it and trust yourself, trust God, trust divine timing, trust the process, and kind of anchor yourself back into those belief statements around the spiritual connection, as well as, trust in yourself and the strength that you have. But I'm proud of you, Jen. I mean, you're doing a really hard thing, and you're showing up and you're functioning anyways. You're still going to the gym. Look at you. It's amazing. So let me turn it over and see if anybody has any thoughts for Jen. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you do, you guys. Mary asks, is it too early to request he get his own sub? What does that mean?
I don't know what that means either.
Mary?
That means a sub for the babysitter,
Oh,
where they go to their.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna ask the same thing,
Mhm.
and also suggest that last night I watched the video, Mohika's video on living separation or something like that.
How to
Yeah.
leverage a separation.
leveraging it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
watched
I've
that
watched
too.
it a couple times, but it's always good to I keep playing it because I keep wanting to hurry it up. That's why I posted that thing in Facebook today about, patience,
Yes.
I want it to be hurry, 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 and it's not hurrying as fast as I want it to go. So I get what
Mhm.
you're saying, Jen, but you are doing really good, and just give yourself lots of credit, and
Yeah.
pretty soon you're going to be so strong that you're going to tell him that he can pick up the kids and they're going to cut him off too, and he has his time and he won't need to come put him to bed and bother you. You're going to be ready for that soon. You will. And then you're going to have all the control, girlfriend. That's what you need to have, all the control.
Thank you, Marlene.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jen, I wanted to say, you should really be proud of yourself though, that you recognize, because as moms, having been down that road that you're in, and mine is now 23, but I separated from her dad when she was only 15 months. So I did it for a really long time, is that you recognize that, that his time he's responsible for. Because what I found is, as moms, the problem is we don't mind having our kids, and we want our kids around, and they know that, and they tend to want to take advantage of that. So to be able to put that boundary in, even though, you know, your heart says, I want to have my kids, but to put the boundary, yeah, even though I want to have my kids, you don't get to dump on me, is a good initial boundary. I'll tell you, the way we had it written in ours eventually was that if you can't meet your obligation, the first opportunity is given to the other parent, but the parent's not responsible for it, but you can ask. And if the parent says
Yeah.
yes, that's great. But if not, it's still your responsibility to find.
Yeah, that would
but-
make sense. And that's, oh, I wasn't complaining that he wasn't going to be there. It was more that he was presumptuously just made the plans and
Oh, yeah.
then just laid it on me like, okay, there's your thing to deal with. You know,
Yeah.
I was just like,
Mhm.
that's not good manners, which I know he knows
Mhm.
better. He's just trying to be that way. for some reason.
Mhm. Yeah.
Thanks.
Next time you could just say to him, like, are you asking me or are you just telling me? Because it's technically your responsibility. So, you know, you can just gently remind him, like, that's something that I'm assuming you're responsible for. I'm happy to do it this time because it works for me too. But I'm looking at it as if it's your time, that it's your responsibility to figure that out, just like it would be for me as well. And I mean, you have the right to do that. And if you want help with that, I can certainly help you with that in terms of how to formulate that.
I feel
Because it-
more, I don't know. I rather just have the responsibility, which is what I feel like I have, and use that as proof that he's not showing, you
I
know,
see.
responsibility, you
feel
know,
like
because
that
I'm wanting more, you know,
Yeah.
and I don't
I
want
would
him,
keep
I just
track
don't
of
want
that
him
stuff.
claiming. Yeah, exactly.
give
That's
that to
all I'm
your
doing is
lawyer.
just keeping track of it.
Yeah.
And I went out of town for a week when he was, you know, needing space, but I did that mostly for
Mhm.
him. I know it was because he wanted it. So anyway, it's kind of like
Mhm.
similar to that,
Mhm. Yeah.
but I asked.
Well, keep us posted, Jen. Okay.
Yeah.
Let us
Okay.
know how it goes. And
Okay.
thanks you guys for your input, and hang in there, Jen, and we'll move on to Rhonda and Chris. And then we have Marlene and Angela. And just in the interest of time, and I am sorry that I'm abbreviating the call tonight, but if we could set it up where for the remainder, we'll do like one celebration and one question for coaching, and then we can fit everybody in. Does that sound good? Okay. How are you guys doing? Let's start with a celebration. I see both of your faces on tonight.
Well, so I would say my celebration is that we were able to get some repair after Thursday. So that was nice.
Awesome.
So that was a little bit of a celebration and able to still, you know, to kind of move on with the weekend as if they were new days versus it kind of lingering on any lingering anger or resentment. I was able to kind of say what I needed to say and, like I said, have some repair around that. So
How did you do that? What made you do that? Like how, like compared to how it used to be, what's the difference?
I don't know any difference in the sense, I think breaking down helped probably, you know, I think sometimes when you reach rock bottom, the only place to go is up. And that was one of those kind of days. So unless I really wanted to sink further, my only choice was to try to go up. And at that point in time, going up was that, you know, I was going to try to have some repair of that situation.
That's
and
awesome.
then also and then, you know, I think Chris handled what I had to say very well, so that he wasn't defensive about it. He took
Nice
ownership
job,
of a
Chris.
lot of what I had to say. And then he also brought up some things that, you know, made me realize what my part in his reaction is, take for
Mhm.
granted, you know. Chris and I come from a little bit of different perspectives about the concept of commitment.
Mhm.
And Chris's idea of commitment is that you stay no matter what, do high dard, you know, and I don't really take that view. And unfortunately, because, and I think I push against his view, and probably not, sometimes it's a good way, but sometimes it's a bad way, that, you know, I'm less likely to be the person who's going to stay around to put up with a bunch of crap. I hate to say it, but but the dilemma in that for him is that I'm probably also the one who inadvertently will throw out, well, I don't have to be here. I don't, I could just go. And I think that feeds off on his insecurities. And because I kind of know that about him. So I'm not sure that I don't do it too as a power, as a weapon. And if I can, work on that a little bit, I think that it would help a little bit with some of his insecurities too, because I think he does. I think he's a lot afraid to make decisions because he thinks if he makes the wrong decision, that I'm out the door, that will be out the door. So we've got to find that happy balance of, well, yeah, I may not stay even if, if things are really bad, but it's not going to be little things that are going to be, I'm out the door.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a great idea in general to say, let's close our exits while we're in this program together, which means no talk of leaving, no talk of divorce, no talk of that's it, I'm out of here, as tempting as it is. And I respect your insight, Rhonda, in looking inward and saying, maybe I do that because I am using that as a power thing. Like that is really honest. And a lot of people do that. I've done it too. So I get it. And if you can recognize that and say, you can always tell yourself, like, if that helps me feel better to know that I can do that later. It doesn't have to be right now. And I don't have to say it right now. I'm not going to say it in the heat of the moment, because if it is something I decide to do, I can always still do it, but to not use it as a threat, at least when you're in this program, because you want to create a safe container where each person is able to practice the things that I'm teaching, take those risks, take the risk of giving feedback, trying something new, being vulnerable, seeing what happens, and knowing that sometimes you're going to not do it right, or sometimes you're going to have a setback, or sometimes it's not going to go well. And that's what I'm here for. That's what the group is here for. That's what this container is here for. So this is the safe place to practice. And you want to take any threats of being out the door off the table for that, knowing you can always bring that up later. That's what helped me. Like when I would go through that, and in my mind, I'm like, well, I can't do this. This is feeling unbearable. And then I would think about leaving and stuff. And I had given myself a zero tolerance policy on not using it as a threat, because it did really hurt my husband, and it did not help matters. It actually made it worse the next time we were trying to work something out. So, and there was resentment around that and stuff. So what helped me is just to remember, you just don't need to say it now, and you don't need to do it now. If that's the right decision, it will be the right decision in a week from now. It'll be the right decision in a month from now. It doesn't have to be right now. And that helped a lot. So I'm just offering that to you. That may be helpful to you. If not, maybe there's some other thing that you can remind yourself of that will help you, when you feel that temptation, whether it's a belief that you need to internalize, or if you need to just come vent in a group call with us so that we can help you, work through that. Because it's one thing to say, I'm not going to do that anymore, but we got to have something to replace it with, right? Because the trigger will still be there sometimes. And so we have to be honest with ourselves without judgment about that.
Yeah.
So, awesome. I'm glad to hear that I'm really glad that you came to the call on Thursday. I'm really glad that you did let yourself break down, that you did go into the hard work of that so that you could get the support and then come back from the bottom. And good for you, Chris, that you received that well, because you've reinforced for Rhonda, like, oh, okay, this can work if I really just come forward in this way. So what was that like for you, and what would you like to celebrate?
I guess I'd like to celebrate the fact that Rhonda recognized that, and she recognized that in me. I was in a tough situation because I only could tell her half the truth. I may not have half of what I knew at the time for what she was asking me, because I didn't have the full story at the time, because this is something we have been trying to plan, and I've been told by 3 different sources to keep calling back and to keep calling back, and this was the area we had settled on. So I couldn't say yes, because that would have been a lie, but I couldn't say no, because they assured me, yes, we'll probably have something, I'm almost certain. And then in the end, the next morning, the the lady calls me back and said, we moved these people around. We're going to give you a cottage, you know. And
Oh, okay, that's good.
yes, I mean, so, it was a matter of, it was, not planning this but, but again, I can't say, you just, oh, I've already done that. And then it doesn't come true, So I'm like, and I didn't know, because, my mind was to get up the next morning and find something else. That was my plan. Or
You
find
weren't done
another.
yet.
Oh, no. I didn't trust what they were telling me. But that's what I owned. Rhonda, she reminded me, but I was also behind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
you
I mean,
owned it. And that's a
yeah,
celebration.
right. But but I've been, had been 2 weeks of checking things, but anyway, yeah. So that was great. That was great. We were able to get through that. I felt really good. We were able to have a really good weekend. We got on the bicycles and we rode literally. We were supposed to ride 10 miles. We ran 12 miles. We ran up. We're riding 16 miles.
Find a bathroom.
When you go 2 more miles out for a bathroom, that's 2 more miles back. That's 4 extra miles.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean, I'm like, okay, yeah, and it's a great path. It was worth the extra. The places around here are like 10 minutes away. It was worth the extra 30 minutes. We wound up 35 minutes driving in, and it was worth it. It reminded us of another trail we used to ride. So, okay,
It sounds so nice.
yeah. So we had a good time there. Yeah. And,
What else? What else do you want to celebrate? Anything else you want to celebrate? Anything you did differently? Anything you were aware of? Or maybe not. I mean,
I called Rhonda on some things. I said, no. I would have in the past, and I mentioned that to her. I said, oh, I and I don't remember exactly what, but I would have let that just happen. And
right.
and
You're
she would have
speaking
had
up more. You're taking the risk of
she would have
speaking up
had
more.
a false, for sake of being just peace in the house.
Yeah, avoidance.
And and so for that reason, but so I figured if she's gonna get upset, she might as well get upset about the truth.
Right. That's great. That I know that has been hard because you'll keep things in and then you'll say, well, I can't say that because Rhonda will react this way. And you're kind of, in a way, putting it on her and anticipating how she will or will not react, which is part of
and exactly,
the
and
whole story. And for you to go out of that and be like, I'm gonna stick my neck out and risk it.
Right.
That's gonna help Rhonda trust you more too.
And I said, I before when we were doing our conversation, I said I felt stuck at this point, and I use those words. But yeah, so I think I know that that I know that it's either one way or the other. You either communicate with the truth, or you shut up with a lie, and and you suffer with it.
Right.
And Rhonda's right. She and I had different experiences. You live, you quiet, you endure, you just, you keep moving, and in the end, you married 50 years, and it may not have been happy, but you were married. Versus Rhonda has always told me, hey,
it's about making it good and healthy.
Yeah.
And that's an environment where you can become the best of who you are. That's what it's all about.
And in hearing those things, when she said that to me, I was like, wow, that sounds good. I'm on this one.
Yeah, it's not about settling, right? It's about really growing together and expanding and learning and finding excitement in that. It's painful too, but it's sort of like you can't selectively numb emotion. You can't say I'm only here for the good parts, but I'm not.
Right.
I don't want to be here for the discomfort that comes with it.
Yeah.
If you want to numb out and keep it comfortable, then you don't get the growth that comes from it either. So well done, you guys. Do you have any coaching questions or anything that you need help with tonight?
No, I think we're okay right now, so that other people have a chance to go. And we both have one-on-ones with you on Wednesday.
Yeah, good. Okay. I'm looking forward to that. It looks like, Marlene, are you sure that you don't, are you good? Are you sure? Do you want to at least celebrate something? You don't have to. Okay. All right. Well,
Hey, Monica, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Is ours Wednesday? Did we change it? It's at 2:00 this time, isn't it? It's not at noon this time?
Let me double check. Yeah, I think we
I think we
changed
changed it to
that.
2:00.
I have you down for, actually, no, for this Wednesday, I have Chris at 10 and then I have you at 12 because I have this meeting that I have to be at from 2 to 4. Does
Oh,
that
no,
work
that's
for
fine. I
you?
just couldn't remember if we had left it at 2:00 and went back to noon. We went back to noon. Okay, that's fine.
We
No,
did go
noon,
back to noon.
noon works fine. I just wanted
Okay,
to make,
good.
all right.
Perfect. All right, good. Well, good to see you guys. It's so nice to see you both on here together. Well done for your wins. I'll turn it over if anybody has any thoughts for Rhonda and Chris, and then we'll go to you, Angela.
Chris, thank you so much. You give me so much hope.
Yeah.
Kudos, I agree with that. And
Yeah.
I'm proud of you too, Rhonda, because I've felt so much like that before. Just, you know, throw the towel in and say, screw it. I've said I'm leaving so many times, so I understand. But I haven't said that for years. I gave that word up, so a long time ago, but I understand.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Yeah. Keep up the good work, you guys. Ditto to that. And keep us posted, and I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday. And we'll move on to Angela. Angela, are you still out for your walk?
I am. I was trying to see if I could turn my screen around to give you guys like the beautiful sunset, but it wouldn't work. So I was on the camera for a minute, not meaning to be. But anyway, yes, I'm still out for my walk, but it's dark now. But I'm almost home. And gosh, Monika, you kind of know where I'm at. It's been up and down, like peaks and valleys, and I just can't make sense of it. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for from you on our 2-on-1 call tomorrow, if you can help with some clarity.
So before because I want to ask you some questions about that, but if you think about the challenges that you've had over the last few days, can you share a celebration in that? Anything that you did differently, anything that you feel like, okay, I did it the way that I wanted to do it, or I caught myself here, or I sidestepped this here, or, you know, doing something in service of your new way and your belief statements, anything like that? Because I bet it's there.
The only thing I think that I did, and I'm not even sure if this is the right thing to do or not, that's the problem. You know, I had a great thing to celebrate on Thursday, and then Friday we literally were off into the biggest fight we've had in a long time. And it's kind of this weird, I don't know, that's why I asked you if it was like a cycle of abuse, because it seems like that's what's starting to be clear to me. But I don't want to label it. But anyway, what I guess I was successful at is on Saturday when, you know, things were kind of tentatively peaceful. And then Sunday he offered, you know, to go out to dinner to where I love to go. And instead of like holding a grudge or keeping my walls up, because I'm not sure yet what the right move is long term, I just did allow myself to be in that moment and have just a really good time with him. We had a great time.
Fantastic.
And
yeah, you were able to just like set it aside and be like, we'll get to it later, but I'm not going to let it block a moment that I can have right now.
Right. And then surprisingly enough, you know, he brought home flowers today. But again, I'm like, it's not that I don't trust it, but I'm starting to see a cyclical pattern, which kind of, it's disturbing a little bit. So anyway, that's all. You know, I had a great time with him, and that's the good parts for us. But the other two parts, the needing to be able to trust him with his word and needing to feel safe to say anything to him, those things are still out there and they're unsolved, you know.
But I feel like the celebration that you didn't mention is that you formulated that and were really clear about that. And you came back into it again to say, hey, this is what it's all about. This is what this is what I need. This is what I'm asking for. And that's up to you now. Like, you were super clear about it. And and honoring yourself and being able to articulate that to him and put it in his court. I feel like that was really good. Like, I feel like that was a celebration too, because that was the strong thing to do you're honoring yourself and what you had decided, which is I'm only going to be in relationships with people who cherish me.
Right.
And who treat, that honor
Right.
my value.
Right.
And that request is basically like, yeah, this is non-negotiable. This is what I have to have. The question is, can you offer that? It's not, it's flipped. It's no longer you trying to prove to him that you've changed. You know what I mean? Like, it's now,
Right.
it's like, I've changed. And now the question is, can you meet me there?
Right.
Because you have really come a long way. And I know it doesn't feel that way to you because you still have that lack of clarity. You still have the cycles, right? Like, that's happening. So in that sense, it feels the same. But from when you started, you are, from where I'm standing, you're working your leverage now because you have boundaries, because you are standing strong in your boundaries. And sometimes you get hooked in, right? When he fights dirty, you get hooked in, like, you're human.
Right.
But so many times you have held a boundary. So many times you have disengaged and said, I don't play that game anymore. And you have showed that again and again. And now you're in a position, and this, I'm highlighting this for others listening too, and for people that are not even on live tonight to hear this, because even though you don't have the assurance that it can be the way that you want it to be, and that's a source of pain and uncertainty for you, you have traveled a long ways in terms of your inner terrain and your mental clarity. Now you're at a point where you have leverage, where before it was like, how can I get him to want to stay? Can I show him that I've changed? And now it's like, and you worked it really hard. And now you're at the point where you're like, I do know that I've made changes. I see that so clearly. I'm not asking for that much. And I'm standing by it. I'm
Right.
standing by it.
Right.
I'm not asking for too much, and I'm not going to be made to feel like that's too much to ask. And I just see that strength in you so much right now, Angela. And you're in a position where you're like, this might not work for me. That's
Right.
it's
That,
a real switch I've seen. Do you
well,
feel
thank
that?
you. Yeah, that is absolutely what is true. I guess the sad part is, in a perfect world, I'd love for it to work because there's a lot of good that would be lost. But also those other two pieces of the puzzle are just critical. Like, I can't live without them, and
Yeah, right.
it's funny. We have having this huge fight on Friday, but there were a couple of points that I landed, like, cause they were non-negotiable, or not non-negotiable. He couldn't disagree with them. And he was just like silent. And I could almost see it in him. Like, he wants to acknowledge that maybe I have a point, but he can't.
Not in that moment. Cause
Yeah.
But he might later.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just really weird because I just let it be quiet. Then I didn't fill in the space with extra words, like I normally would, keep making my point or whatever. And it was just like this weird silent pause of like, yeah, because the only answer you could possibly say would be, hey, you know what? I guess, I'm right. Like, he's not really doing, carrying his weight, I guess, or whatever. And I know we're up against time, so I will just say that, yeah, it's different vibe. But also I don't like some of the patterns that I'm seeing. So
Right. And it's scary too, because even if you're strong and even if you're feeling better and you're more confident, you still don't know the outcome. And there is that fear of like, well, what if this can't work? That will be hard and there will be grief. And so you're not getting to feel the joy of this experience. But if nothing else, if you can there's a difference between clean pain and like toxic pain. The clean pain is the kind of pain where you're like, it didn't work out. I'm very clear on why. I'm very clear on what's mine and not mine. And I'm not going to be incriminated in someone else's limitations. And that's really sad. But it's not the same kind of pain as the kind of pain of feeling like you failed. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a big difference. And so, and if you had the choice between playing out this cycle for the next 10 years or just getting strong enough to walk away from that cycle, and those were your only two choices, this is the lesser of two painful evils.
I would be gone. Yeah, I would be totally gone. So yeah, I guess that's good. Clarity is good. Strength,
I'm
inner
proud of
strength
you.
is good. So I guess we just live the question for a few more, I don't know, weeks. So anyway.
Yes. Well, and I'm looking forward to our session tomorrow. I'm going to dive in with you guys then. Are you on okay terms right now?
Yeah, I mean, ever
Okay.
since, yeah, we went out, like I said, Sunday night, I had been gone all day and I was like, not even like going out ready or whatever. I'd been running errands and we just were sitting there and we kind of decided like, hey, let's just take a ride and go to dinner. And that's kind of unusual too. Like normally, you know, I'd be getting ready and whatever for like a fun dinner out. And I was just like, okay, let me just throw my shoes on and let's go. And that was the thing too, because we had a great time. We had a fabulous meal, you know, it was just really nice, but it's also, you know, you're just like feel a little whiplashed a bit, you know.
Totally. I know. That's why I'm asking if you're still on good terms, because it's like you never know. It could have been like, oh, we had a great dinner, and then now things are weird again. Like there's been so many
No,
ups
yeah,
and
no,
downs, but
it
I'm
was
glad to hear
fine.
that.
As a matter of fact, like he was like, I'll stop at the store on the way home, and he came home with flowers, but I just don't want that to be like that makeup part of this really bad cycle, you know.
Right. Well, here's what you can do. You can allow yourself to receive the repair, and you can allow yourself to receive the goodness between you now. Don't like sacrifice that, but at the same time know that you're not shoving anything under the rug. The things that you're
Right.
taking a stand for, that will still, you will still have a reckoning of that in the future, like soon.
Right,
You know, it's
right.
not like, I think sometimes there's that false dichotomy of, if I allow myself to can reconnect, then I'm reinforcing the pattern, but you're not really, if internally it's different for you. And
Right.
if you already have a strategy for how you're going to address it later, you can have both.
Right. And you know, it felt so good to be able to make that choice, like to not be so angry that I'm like, I'm just going to punish you and I'm going to reject your offer to go to dinner. And I'm, you know, I'm just going to.
Yeah, right. It shows your strength. It shows your strength.
Yeah. So it was good. It felt good. And it did feel, like you said, clean, like a clean decision.
Yes.
Not cloudy. So yeah. So I hope you have a beautiful celebration for your son's birthday. And
thanks. He turned 17 today. It's crazy. And this is the first day my kids both went back to school now full time for the first time in a year.
Oh my
and
gosh.
so that's different. So there's a lot going on. And then it snowed again after we had a little brief.
Oh my gosh.
Brief rendezvous with spring, and it was short-lived, and now we have snow again. But anyway, yeah, he's 17 and it's blowing my mind. Like, you know how you just have those moments like where you're just like, oh my God, how did this happen? Like just yesterday he was 12. I don't get this. Like the days are long, but the years are short. It's so true.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I ordered a drink with my daughter the other day out in a restaurant, and that was really weird.
Oh my God.
So,
yeah. I can't even imagine.
I'm like, okay, so I guess we get to have a margarita together. She's not even 21, but she's almost 21. So
close enough.
Yeah.
With parental supervision, right?
Yes, she had my approval. But anyway, well, thank you so much, Monika, and I will sign off so you can enjoy your party.
All right, you guys, I will turn it over real quick. If anybody has any thoughts for Angela, you guys go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good work. Good work.
Thank you.
I'm super proud of you, and I'm super jealous because I want to be where you are.
Oh, I don't know about that. There was some.
That's why I said patience. Dang it. I'm growing, but it's just not happening fast enough.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look at it like this, Marlene. The slower it takes, the stronger the foundation is going to be. If you rush it, then you are at more risk to go back to the old ways. So the more that you can be methodical in building that foundation, the stronger.
Good point. But the other problem with that is that I can't test out my learning skills because he's not here.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
And so
I think you still can though on the phone. Like when you are having interactions, they can still feel your energy shift. You still have opportunities. It's not the same though. I get that.
Yeah.
But it's not like you have no opportunities.
True.
But I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get it. It's not the same as when you're living together where it's like every minute of every day is like an opportunity to demonstrate that.
But I am grateful that I don't have those blow-ups because I hate those blow-ups, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
it's a double-edged sword kind of.
That's why I'm a fan of separation. Because I think
Mhm.
separation can be so good as you shore up the negativity, you remove the triggers, and then you get more control over when you are going to see each other, that you can prepare and make sure that it's positive and start to rewrite the story from a place of support. But if you're back in the same environment, it is just so much harder.
True.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
Yeah,
keep up-
one
you
more. I
guys-
thought
I
they
just
were,
want-
but
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
no,
Go ahead.
no, sorry. I was talking to someone at the gym. I'm sorry. I forgot I
Oh, that's okay. Oh, whoops. I didn't mute you while we were still talking. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Jen.
Monika, I understand about
No,
the
I'm
birthday
asking to
thing
unmute, but
and how you feel, because my oldest daughter just turned 45 and I almost had a heart attack.
you
I-
look way too young to have a
I was
45-year-old
like,
daughter. Oh my
"What?
God.
You're
Can't
45. Where did all the time go? I totally get it. So
Yeah, that's how my mom felt when I turned 53 on last week. She was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." I'm like, "I bet that makes you feel kind of old, huh?" She's like, "Well, I am
Yeah.
old."
Yeah.
I'm not old. I'm not old, and my daughter's going to be 45 this summer.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not old either. So
No, none of you are. And
Yeah.
honestly, like how I look at it is like 50 is the new 30, 80 is
Yeah.
the new 60. We're all going to be Centaurians.
Yeah.
Life's
We're
just getting
still
easier.
hot. That's it.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, bye, ladies. I'll talk to you tomorrow
Bye, you
morning.
guys. Have a great
right, bye.
night. We'll see you
Bye.
Thursday.
Bye bye.
Bye.